So in our last video, we went ahead and made this new mold for our new Bigfoot cast that we're going to be taking to presentations with us. In this video, we're going to go ahead and make that new print. So the first thing I'm going to do is I took some old concrete mortar that I had lying around, mixed it up, and we're just going to go ahead and pour this straight into this mold. Now this is by far not the best substance to use for creating casts. I'd much rather use plaster or something like that if I had some on hand, but I don't. So this is what I'm going to use. It's going to work out pretty well. I've used this for concrete skulls in the past. You can check out those videos if you want. We'll see how this holds up. Let's go ahead and get this mold all filled up and I'll show you how this process works. So I went ahead and put this mold on an old sheet, as you can see here, and I did that because of the irregularities of the mold itself. It helps support it a lot better. And now as I move it around and tap the sides, kind of shake it a little bit here and there, I'm getting the bubbles to rise to the surface of the mold there. That way you're not going to get any bubbles sitting along the edges, hopefully. I can go ahead and poke them here and there. And we'll just kind of mess with it until I'm satisfied that this mortar compound is settling nicely into this mold. It's been a couple hours, but don't let this color change fool you. At this thickness, this stuff takes forever to set up. I'm actually going to let this sit for about a week so that it properly cures, and then at that time we'll come back and we'll continue this project. Now it's been about a week and I'm still not sure that this stuff's 100% dry. But it feels pretty solid, feels pretty sturdy. Let's go ahead and get the plaster off the concrete here. Basically it's just a matter of carefully peeling it all off and getting it to separate without taking any of the surface texture along with it. So let's get that done. So I got all the casting material off here, and you can see that I'm still going to have to do a little bit of scraping here and there to get the final bits of that white plaster off there. But this thing is definitely not 100% cured yet, so okay. Hold on a second. Okay, so in that last shot you saw that I broke the cast. But fear not, true believer, we'll come back to that in just a second. But let's go ahead and focus on building the display box, because that's going to help us solve our big problem. So I'm going for a very basic display box here. As you can see, simple construction, a bunch of scrap wood that I had laying around. I did a little bit of wood burning on this to give it a little bit of an antique texture. I'll finish off this bottom here shortly. And I'll probably do a little bit here on the inside, depending upon how I want that inside to look, I guess. But that's it. Again, this is going to help us solve our problem of having broke the cast itself. I can hide that break by affixing it to the box. But now we got to fix our cast first. So, pretty simple process here. I'm just going to take some liquid nail. I'm going to glue this bad boy back together. I'll start with this little piece up here on the side. I'm pretty sure anybody who's watched any of my videos, especially if you've been around for a while, you know how glue works. You put it on one side, you might want to put a little bit on the other side. You just kind of squeeze it together. With any luck, if you've got a halfway decent adhesive, it should hold. I'll go ahead and fix this larger crack same way. Just a little bit of liquid nail on one side. Go ahead and squeeze this into place. Now the reason that I didn't just go ahead and start this whole project over is because I'd like to share my successes as well as my failures. And at this point in the project, I kind of consider this a failure, but I'm going to make the best of it. I can always make another cast sometime in the future using a variety of different methods, but I'm not ready to give up on this guy quite yet. The basic design of a Bigfoot cast is that it was supposed to have been taken out of the ground in the first place, so any minor imperfections aren't really going to matter. And besides, like I've already explained, I'm going to be gluing this to the inside of that display box. Everything will be nice and firm when this entire project's done. I'm going to go ahead and clean this up a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and get it painted, and we'll get this mounted in the box. So I went with a white paint on this to make it look more like a plaster cast. Under that paint, that seam is almost invisible. I went ahead and hit it with some dry brush black paint highlights. And overall, I'm extremely happy with the way that this has finally turned out. So here's our finished product. As you can see, I went ahead and did some wood burning on the inside of the box here. The entire wood box is covered with boiled linseed oil. I was going to put a plexiglass cover over this, but then I decided not to because I want people to actually be able to physically touch this mold. I think there's a lot more to it if you can actually put your fingers in the different little grooves and stuff like that. Makes a little bit better presentation. If you enjoyed this video, you know I'd appreciate that thumbs up like. Feel free to follow us on Instagram, see what we're up to throughout the week between videos, because not everything makes it to YouTube, and maybe, just maybe, I'll see you on the next video. If you enjoy videos about the randomness of our amazing world, consider clicking on the globe to subscribe, or maybe checking out one of the other videos right here.